You're listening to Memoirs from Magnolia Lane, a podcast miniseries highlighting tales of the tradition unlike any other from the patron point of view. From iconic on-course moments to time-honored family traditions, you'll hear firsthand memories from patrons who've experienced the life-changing magic of the Masters. So grab a peach ice cream sandwich and join us as we share our stories in this collection of Memoirs from Magnolia Lane. Hello, friends. Welcome to the show, and thank you so much for listening to Golf Unfiltered. Once again, we are back for another episode of our mini-series, Memoirs from Magnolia Lane. If you've missed the last few episodes, we are taking a break from our regularly scheduled programming here at Golf Unfiltered, and we are highlighting some patron stories surrounding my personal favorite tournament of the year, Masters. My name is Nikki Dunnigan, and once again, I just want to remind you that this mini-series is in no way affiliated with, nor are we sponsored by, Augusta National Golf Club, the Masters Tournament, or any of its affiliates. We haven't needed to say that yet, but we're going to keep saying it just in case. If you've listened to the last few episodes, you'll notice that all of our guests have a very unique connection to the Masters Tournament and Augusta National Golf Club. And today's guest is no exception. I'd like to introduce you to someone who has not only been to the tournament as a patron, but he loves this place so much that he even volunteers to work it. I'm so excited to introduce to you to our friend Kyle from Wisconsin. Kyle, how are you today?
I am lovely, Nikki. It's been raining all day, but weather should be good for the next week, as you know, down here. So
yeah,
it's the best week of the year.
It is. And it's going to be a beautiful week in Augusta. I have seen some pictures floating around of the azaleas are starting to bloom. We're seeing some pink bushes around. So it's gonna be a beautiful backdrop in Augusta for sure.
Yep. It'll be town. You can kind of feel the buzz in town already. Obviously traffic's, a little busier than normal, I'd say. And it'll be cool to see the changes that the golf club has made this year.
That's right. They have they extended 11, I believe, and 15? Is that the two holes that I read?
And then I think also number 3, possibly.
Number 3. Okay. Wow. I didn't remember reading about that one. Okay. Interesting. Wow. God, that's going to be some big changes. Now, 11 was the tee box, right? They extended the tee box.
I believe so. Something like 30 yards or something like that.
Wow, God, that hole's already so hard, and now I don't even want to think about what that hole's going to play like. I know Rory was interviewed recently, and he said that this course is going to play harder than it has any year he's played it. So it's going to be brutal for sure. We'll see how the scoring is.
Always interesting.
Yeah. Now, I asked this of our guest last week, and I kind of put her on the spot, so I've got to do the same for you too. Who is your pick to win this year?
Oh.
I know. Putting you on the spot early.
It'd be lovely to see Tiger make a run at it again, back 9 on Sunday, if he's playing. Other than that, I'm a big DJ fan. DJ or JT would be great. Also, the local guy, Kevin Kisner. He's always fun to watch. So
this ain't no hobby, boys.
That's right.
You mentioned Tiger. Tiger has been dominating the headlines lately. There's a lot of will he, won't he. I know they've been tracking his private jet. He's been seen playing in Augusta with Charlie and Justin Thomas. I think it was Justin Thomas. His caddy is with him. And speaking of his caddy, you have an interesting Masters memory with his caddy. Do you want to share that with us?
Yeah, it's probably one of my favorite stories from coming down here the last few years. But yeah, Joe I was leaving the tournament. This was like 2018, I think. Mm-hmm. And it was like 8 o'clock at night, and I stopped at the Five Guys, which I think is no longer there, but it's right. It was in that building next to Sport Clips, and I just went and I ordered my food and went over to fill up my soda, and I looked back over towards the register, And this gentleman didn't have a hat on, but I'm like, it looks like Joe. I'm just going to go see if it's Joe. And I walk over and I say, you ain't by chance Joe LaCava. And he starts laughing. And I'm like, yeah, well, by the time I got up to him, I knew it was him, but he didn't have a hat on. So I didn't, it was really hard to tell. But we had our food ordered, and then our food came, and we had it both in our hands, and we still kept talking for like 20-30 minutes. And he could not have been a nicer guy. Like
Wow.
it was like I was talking to one of my buddies, and it was just kind of cool to see that side of him, because he's the type of guy you never see out anywhere unless you're at a New York Giants game. But yeah, that's
Wow. And it's so funny that you didn't recognize him without a hat on. I'm sure there's multiple golfers that don't get recognized without a hat on because you only see them on TV with their hats on. Like,
right. Like you can
especially,
go, like I've been out to breakfast here, during this week, and if you pick the right spot, you can usually see a player or caddy or a few of them at one time. And if you're not really looking, you don't exactly know who they are. But I've seen a few other players and stuff like that in town. I mean, they're just normal folks just like us, so it's kind of cool.
yeah. Yeah. Now, this week is special for everyone. And for someone like yourself who's been going for so long, we ask this question to all of our guests, and I'm sure that that you have a special answer to this as well. But what does the tradition, unlike any other, mean to you?
This is just, it's such a professionally ran tournament, and it's just different than any other tournament that, Ryder Cups are fun, other majors are cool, but this one's just, it's totally different. Like the no phones and everything like that is
Mm,
just, it's cool because when you walk inside the gates, you don't really think about anything else other than what's going on in front of you, and you get to meet people because you don't have your phone, so you're not preoccupied or anything like that, and you just meet people from all around the world, and everyone's just happy to be there.
mm,
And it's I don't know, it's just different. Hard to explain. But like I'm from Wisconsin, so we've had snow on the ground for the last 5-6 months, and this is, once the Masters rolls around, snow starts to melt, and then it's golf season. So it's kind of a nice kickoff to the rest of the summer.
Now, the phone thing is so unique to other tournaments. And I think I mentioned this on a previous episode. I think the first tournament I ever went to outside of the Masters, I was shocked that you could bring a phone in. But it's so nice to be able to sit around the green or sit, in the grandstands and not see people constantly in their phones, and everyone is actually focused on the golf. But one of my favorite things is watching people watch the scoreboards. And the scoreboard is one of the biggest attractions, I guess you could say, at the Masters. But you know, as someone who's been there for so long, tell us a little bit, because I know what it's like, but tell our listeners a little bit about what it's like to watch people watch those scoreboards, on, let's say like a Sunday afternoon as people are fighting for a, contention, or, even like when Tiger is in contention and people are waiting to see, is Tiger going to win it? What is that like? What is the atmosphere like as people are
I
watching
can
those scoreboards?
I can remember 2019 Sunday like it was yesterday. I remember exactly where I was throughout the entire time. Like the last 2 hours before the leader or the winner comes through 18 green, I pretty much get set up almost directly underneath Jim Nance's booth. And that day, like you could just totally hear all of the roars, and you knew which ones were Tiger because it's 10 times louder than anybody else's roar. And it was
Hmm.
so cool to follow that all throughout the back nine. And then once he comes up to 18, I'm standing there along the ropes, and I look to my left, and it's Matt Kuchar standing shoulder to shoulder with me. And I didn't even know what to say to Matt Kuchar. I mean, Tiger chips up onto the green and everyone's crying. Everyone's got their hats off. I mean, it was just such a special like moment in the history of this game. It was just, you kind of have to pinch yourself that, you know, you're standing there witnessing it. And it's pretty cool. It's totally different than any other tournament. That's for sure.
Wow. That's incredible that to be standing that close to Matt Kuchar watching that happen. And for Matt Kuchar to be standing there in that moment, not as Matt Kuchar, the golfer, but to be standing there as Matt Kuchar, a Tiger Woods fan,
Right.
just like the rest of us were, you know. I think everyone on that Sunday was a Tiger Woods fan.
Right.
You know, your opinion, you know, since we're talking about Tiger and since he's been dominating all of the conversation as of late, do you think he'll play? Do you think he will?
Yeah, absolutely. I really don't think he would have came yesterday or 2 days ago up here if he wasn't seriously trying to play. So I'm optimistic. So we'll see. You know, if not, hopefully he continues to work on his health and get better so we can see him, you know, this summer sometime.
Well, by the time the episode actually airs, we will see if you're right.
Perfect.
Yeah. Well, I think I agree with you. I think Tiger's the type of person who Augusta's not one he's gonna miss if he can help it, I think.
Right.
So yeah. You know, I think you said a lot that I completely agree with today. Augusta's a very, very special place, and it's run unlike any other tournament. You know, we've talked about it on previous episodes. Even the bathrooms are unlike any other place. You know, everybody knows the concessions even are just totally different. You know, people wait all year long for those pimento cheese and egg salad sandwiches, and it's different from other places.
It's the peach ice cream that gets me coming back.
Oh yeah, yep. You and me both, man. Those are so good. It's the cookie on top that makes it.
Yeah.
It's just so good. You know, one of the things that I love the most about the tournament, and it now that I have been going over and over, is you can tell whose like first time it is when you're there and you're looking around. You know, when we come in through the south gate, and so we'll come in and we'll cross over like that fifth fairway, and you can just see, you can tell whose first time it is just by the way that they're looking and
they
the way
stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah. I remember
they have a smile from ear to ear. They bend down, they touch the grass to see if it's real.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I was about to say. I remember the very first time that I brought my now husband, with me, but you know, we were dating at the time, and I remember the first time that we came in, and he just was like jaw to the floor, and he like you said, he bent down and just touched the grass and was like, I cannot believe that this is real. I cannot believe that I'm here. And like, he was like, how do they get the grass like this? And he was just admiring every plant. And, you know, even to this day, we'll be sitting there on whatever hole it is that we are sitting on. And to this day, he will look at me at least once while we're there and go, where are the squirrels? You know, and there's not even any squirrels in Augusta.
Or the birds.
The birds, yes.
Yep.
Yeah. You know, you hear them on TV, but you don't see them when you're there. And so that's a fun piece of trivia for folks.
That's like one of my favorite things about coming down here. Fortunately, now I'm able to like bring friends and family down, and we'll go out to dinner, you know, each night, and some of them are just speechless. Like they've never seen anything like it. And that's my favorite part of this whole thing, and being a part of it is sharing that experience with how special this place is with other people that, you know, it might be their one and only time they ever get to come, but it's cool to be a part of it.
And do you think that it's so special because it's so hard to get a ticket? Or do you think it's so special because of how well they take care of the landscaping and the greens? Or do you think it's so special because the food is so cheap and the bathrooms are so nice? Or do you think it's a combination of everything and the just how well that they treat the patrons, and because of the memories that you get to share and pass down, and the moments like you were talking about where you could be standing next to Matt Kuchar watching Tiger win his fifth green jacket?
It's a little bit of everything. I mean, all put together. It's so well ran. I mean, everything down to the free parking. You can't go to any other sporting event for anything and have free parking right outside the gate. But you could walk into the merchandise building and you have no clue who you might see in there, because they, professional basketball players, football, all of that. One time I saw Barbara Nicholas in there, and I was completely speechless. She walked in there just to check it out because it was back when they built it 2-3 years ago. But it's like you never know who you're going to see, and then you go outside, you go to the bathroom, and the bathroom greeters are as nice as anyone. The food is good, and it is cheap, so that's nice. But it's everything.
It's so funny you say professional athletes. 3 years in a row, we saw Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Nice.
Yeah, and it was one of those, like, we saw him the first year and we're like, oh wow, that's cool. We can tell people we saw Ryan Fitzpatrick. And then we saw him the second year and we're like, huh, interesting.
No big deal.
Yeah, and then the third year we're like, no one's going to believe us. Like we can't take a picture because we're on a tournament day. We don't have our phones. No one's going to believe us that we saw him a third time. Like this is insane.
And that's what's cool about no phones. It's like you're not worried about that. So it's like you could easily just go up to whoever it is and just say hi.
Yeah, and we did. Yeah,
spot,
we did. We politely. I mean, we didn't ruin their day, but we just politely were like, hey, nice to meet you, big fan. I remember my husband. One time we saw Chris Carter from ESPN. He was a big fan of him, and he went over and shook his hand, and he was like, his hands are enormous. But we have run into Nick Faldo a couple times, as he's out of the booth, obviously, but he's much larger in person than you would imagine. So you see people out there that you wouldn't expect. We saw Lil Wayne one year, who
nice.
was the last person I would have expected to see at Augusta National, but hey, he was out there, he was enjoying himself, he was having a great time. But again, we were like, no one's going to believe us, and until someone, I think he tweeted about it later, and we were like, okay, maybe people will believe us that he was here.
Right.
But yeah,
and that's what's cool about it. It's like it's people that know that you go, and they know how cool it is if they appreciate the game of golf and all of that. But it's like you're so taken away from social media and all of that stuff, and it's just enjoying that moment, and you have those memories forever, and it's special.
Yeah, it is. And now I know we've talked about the food a good bit, and so I have to ask, what's your sandwich when you go? I mean, obviously you eat them all, but what's your go-to?
My go-to now is egg salad for breakfast, and then around lunch I'll switch over to the club. Can't say I'm a huge fan of the pimento.
Interesting. Okay.
But those are my safe options there. And then always at the end of the day when you're walking out, got to get that peach ice cream.
Yep. I know this is so sacrilegious of me to even say. I know I have literally a master's tattoo on my body, but I don't do the pimento cheese sandwich. Yep. I don't do it. I take a bite to say that I've had it, and that's it for me. That's it. But now, granted, I don't do pimento cheese anyway. It's just not
in general. Sure.
Yeah, in general. Yeah. But I'm a ham and cheese on rye. Like, I all day long, I will eat about 15 of them things. And like you said, the peach the peach ice cream. Those
The
are
chicken wraps are a good little switch up too.
yeah, those are pretty good too. Yeah, and the fact that they're also cheap. I mean, we will just grab handfuls of them.
Yep.
I eat
Take
more
them home.
sandwiches in that week than yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Take them home and eat them for the rest of the week for sure. Yeah, I'm already getting hungry thinking about it. Just thinking
Me
about
too.
next week, starting to eat
We've only got a
candy.
couple days.
I know,
So.
I know. I'm very excited about it. Well, I just want to thank you for being here and thank you for sharing these stories with us. I know we're only a few more days away from the tournament, and so I'm looking forward to the tournament. It's going to be an exciting one for sure, and I'm hoping the weather holds out. It's looking like there might be 1 or 2 days of a little bit of rain, but who knows? Maybe the rain will make the course a little bit softer and play a little bit better. Who knows? We'll see.
I definitely, yeah. Early next week, I think it'll soften up a little bit, but they'll control it, and we'll have a great back nine on Sunday.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited. Well, as we wrap up this episode, I just want to say thank you so much to Kyle and all of our guests in this mini series. And, as I said in the first episode, this tournament and this course obviously mean a lot to me. And it's been so wonderful to meet other people who validate that passion. And I just want to thank all of you for listening and sharing your stories with us on social media as well. We've really enjoyed seeing some of the pictures you guys have been sending in and sharing with us. We are going to be putting together a blog post for our website, which is golfunfiltered.com, to sort of kind of wrap up the series and to share some of the photos that all of our guests have been so graciously sharing with us. I know Rick had mentioned in his episode some of the collection that he has. Julie mentioned in her episode the book that she had. So we're going to be sharing some of those photos as well over on our website, as well as some of the pictures that you all have shared with us on social media. So feel free to share your own with us if you'd like to be included in that wrap up blog post that we're going to be putting together. You can send them to Nikki, Nikki, at golfunfiltered.com. And be sure to stay tuned on social media at Golf Unfiltered. You're also welcome to follow me at Nikki Dunnigan. That's NIKKIDUNAGAN. And if you just can't get enough of us, be sure to check out Golf Stories Secret Tour Pro. If you're into golf and true crime, it is a series that Adam put together that will keep you on the edge of your seat, I promise. And that's going to be enough from me today. I want to thank Kyle again for being here today. And thank you again for listening. And we will see you next week after the Masters. And Adam will be back on the mic. Cheers.